Hello everybody, welcome to part 17 of the Curve Tri-Tail Tuner build. In our last episode, the phone ran out of memory and the batteries started going dead and things like this. So I tried single coil at the bridge and then a single coil at the neck at the number 6 string position. Now I'm going to try like a single coil at the bridge and two single coils, one at the number 6 string and one at number 1 string or something like that. And so I found my third hottest single coil. It's this gold foil, and it clocks in at 6K. These other two are 7K, so it ought to be pretty close. I figured I'd put the hotter two to emphasize the individual strings, and then use the weakest of the three as the baseline signal that I'm adding these other signals to. And it's all going to be wired parallel, so let me twist some wires together. I'll be right back. It just occurred to me that putting a humbucker here might work even better with like the single coil here and the humbucker here. Because the humbucker is going to have, like more bass response and be louder. It'd be kind of like putting two single coils here, sort of, but in series, which would nuke the treble a little bit. But you're trying to pick up bass, not treble, so the fact that it has less treble response probably wouldn't matter. So maybe I'll try that before I try 3. Okay, got a humbucker single coil parallel. One coil of the humbucker is situated like between 5 and 6, or under 5 and 6. We'll see what's up here. Turn on the amp helps. So once again, it's got that nice top end thing going on. I mean, bottom end. As far as like how much bottom this is and this. Alright, let's try going over a little bit. So we'll pick up 3 strings. Roughly. Okay, let's go back to 2 strings here. Versus the single coil. I wish I could just A-B switch this, but it'd be more work to set up the A-B switch circuit, so just kind of do this quick and dirty and not make any music in between. Hopefully we can all remember what the last one sounded like compared to this. This thing is recording, right? Yeah, cool. I was wondering if the pickup would work upside down. Easy way to reverse the pull. Sounds a bit more open. That seems to have a bit more bottom end, I think. Well, it gives it a fuller sound on the bass, less twangy, but Alright, wait a sec. Okay. Leg bone connected to the shin bone, which is kind of hating life here, is wire. X-ray specs. Better. Positives. Negatives. Third pickup. Okay, positives. Negatives. Get back on there, you. Interfering with the string. This thing will barely fit under here. We should jack this up a little bit for a moment. It's a little better. Okay, okay, so, right, humbucker, single coil. Definitely a brighter sound, less on the bottom end now. Twangy guitar, or you want a fuller sounding guitar? Let's see if we can get fuller sounding without muddy. seem to be much of a difference. Either there's pickup underneath the string or there isn't. Okay, how about this string? Too much. It might be too much. Too much. Oh God. I'm gonna go fish again. Hold on. Had one just a minute ago. Where did I put that? Alright. Search the shop for this other shim. I'll be back. Okay, found a different piece of 1/4" ply shim here. Where are we at? It's definitely got a nice full sound. It's got some fullness here and a lot there. See if we go away. Yeah, so that's not bad. Gives it a rich full tone. Let's try 3 strings. That might be too full. Go back to 2½ strings. Better blend. Go back to 2 strings. That definitely accentuates those 2. Let's go back to 1 string. Or 1½. Seems to, even going from 1 string to 2 strings, you seem to lose some definition. Here, go with 1 string. And go 2 strings. It seems to darken both of these strings or give them more bass. There it really comes in. You can hear it fading out, even though almost like here. At least you can. Live. I don't know if the camera might fix this up. Yeah, see, that gets fat real fast, that tone. Okay, so the humbucker's adding bottom. The single coil is adding bottom, but a lighter, clearer, less heavy bottom, I guess you'd say. Wish this thing would stand up on its own. Maybe I need to put it on some kind of little legs or something. Okay, let's try 3. We got 3 going here anyway. We'll put humbucker on the bass. We'll put this on the treble side. spacer. Spacer. Tape. 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 Hello, precious. Baby doll be in the house. 3 of 5, aka Baby Doll. I was adopted by a kitten, and she had kittens. I didn't know what to name them, so I gave them board designations. 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, and 5 of 5. Of which I still only have 2 and 3. They later all got names as well. 2 became Little Girl, and 3 became Baby Doll. She's beautiful. She's a black and white, long-haired American. She almost looks like a Persian cat. And she's right behind the camera as we speak, so to speak. And since I've got some tape on the other side here. Easier said than done. It's going to be a rather jury-rigged situation here. That's cool things. Don't go anywhere. Line up straight. This guy, I guess we'll put him between 1 and 2. Now we'll put him under number 1 to start. Okay, what we got? Well, let me take this out first. That was our sound that we had with our humbucker. That's where we were. And we added this thing at the number 1 position. It's not vertical, but it's under the string. It's louder. That's interesting. This picks up more here. Maybe a little bit there too. Back out. I think it only affects the top 2 strings. Yeah, it barely has an effect on number 3. If we go in more, it does give a little something to number 2. A little more bottom end, actually. Moving it between string 1 and 2 really has no effect on string 2, so by the time it's under string 1, string 2 is all the way in the field, currently. At least with the thing oriented this way. So maybe we want to go just outside of string 1. There it comes in. definitely in by then. So maybe put it like the slugs just outside of the string, like here. You pick up just this one. Actually might sound better picking them both up. I think it does. I think it seems to be mostly 5 and 6 that are a little loud by comparison, or I'm trying to bring up mostly 1, maybe 2 a little bit, you know. Say like, pictures 1,000 words. Come here, baby. Let's draw pictures for the people. Get my soda away from you. That little kitten is a bull in a china shop. Oh my God. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, can you see this? Yeah, you can see this. So, here's your 6 strings looking at it from the bridge side in this direction. And you want to, it sounds to me as though what I'm shooting for is to, say these were sliders on an EQ, I want to go like up here, and down here, and down here, and then kind of this kind of a thing, and end up with that kind of a curve. Compared to like just a regular pickup, I guess you'd say. Alright. Well, it seems to sort of do that by doing this kind of a setup here. With like a single coil under the number 1 string, so it picks up numbers 1 and 2. Excuse me, Daddy Dacky. And then a humbucker under number 6, so it picks up 5 and 6. And the humbucker on the bass is definitely fuller than this. But then again, that's it's twice as powerful a pickup. If you did like a 7 here, a 3 here, and a 3 here, you'd probably get the same results, all in single coil. Yeah, the blackie. So, I wonder about adjusting pickup screws. Let's try that. I'll be right back. Wonder what happens if you take the screw out entirely. It would probably still work, but not very well, I would imagine. As opposed to just like screwing it way down or something. Okay, I took the cover off of the silver pickup, and I've adjusted 4 center screws so the tops are flush with the bobbin, and then I pulled these 2 out, well, probably about 3 mil, I'd say. Looks to be. Maybe I should measure, but yeah, let me get a real number. We can go by the numbers. I'll be back. Good science, right? Okay. Number 1, number 6 screw are up 5 mil from the bobbin. The rest, the heads are set flush with the bobbin. Pretty even. It's got a nice bottom to it. And a nice ring to the top. Now, I did a video on doing this before. I did this to pick up on like version 2 of the X5 or version 1 or something. And in that one, I actually took the number 2 and number 5 string screws and put them down at the back of my EQ analogy here. So we got an EQ with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sliders. And open Kelly, right? You can't see. After doing repairs on finishes, I found this for like, I think 20 bucks at Walmart or something. And it's got like all kinds of colors, so it's like, you know, if I'm trying to fix a purple, like a little divot or something on a guitar that's got purple on it, I've got some purple, I've got blue, I've got all kinds of colors. And they really do work well. So yeah, colored Sharpie, you can't, there's more than just black Sharpie is your friend, so to speak. So let me find something here. What a green. The blackie. Oh baby. No, you see, come here, Bubba. Oh, you look at come on. Reminds me of a little piglet. Little baby head and little fat belly. Okay, so yeah, your screws are going to be like your sliders on your EQ. Like this is going to be your bass, and this is your treble. And so, yeah, from the time I did it before, I had this slider way up, and because of that I had to turn this one way down. And then I turned these two down a little bit. Turn this one also way down, because once again I turned that one way up. So that's what the screws on the X5 pickup look like. Next time I'm going to try, I'm going to take out a number 5 screw altogether, see what happens. I've never tried taking the screw out entirely, see how much of an effect it has. So let's try that. I'll be right back. Okay, time for a little physics here so you understand why I'm doing this and why it might work. And well, it will work, but it's just a question of whether it works to a significant degree or not. Like most things in guitars, just 99% of the stuff that you've heard, you know, about this nut material or that kind of wood or whatever, it's true, but it makes such a small difference that you really need, you know, scientific instruments to really tell, and only the best ears can tell, or, you know, if you've got a lot of familiarity with a particular instrument. But that's really neither there. Right quick, I just want to explain what's going on. So the whole idea is this boils down to, I'm going to do this where you can see. I hope that's going to be big enough. I can always hold it up the camera once I'm done. So what it boils down to is the concept of superposition of waves. And all that means is I've got a wave like this, and then I've got a second wave like, you know, this or whatever. And if I send them both down the same signal path, or they're both on the same, vibrating on the same string, that wouldn't be a string type wave. But if they're both vibrating on the same string at the same time, basically what happens is you just go along and you add them up. So if I've got a wave that's going like this, and then I've got like the exact opposite that's going like this, if these two waves were combined, you'd end up with a flat line. That kind of idea. If I've got like a wave that's going to go like this and get down, and then I've got another one that's basically identical and going down like that. Then put the two together, and I'm going to get the same thing, but at twice the amplitude. So yeah, basically point by point, you just go along and you add them up. And you know, if one's positive and one negative, then you know, +1 plus -1 is 0. That kind of idea. So okay, so what we're doing is we're trying to modify a wave here. Because what's going on is that all of your devices in your chain, your pickup, okay, then the next thing's going to be your amp, and then the next thing's going to be your speaker. And all three of these devices are going to have their own natural frequency response, which is more or less their own EQ curve that they kick out. None of these things puts out flatline output, same volume at all frequencies. None of these devices do. If you've ever seen like a high-end speaker, they've got a frequency response curve, and for your frequency response curve on a nice speaker, it's going to go more or less kind of like this, where this is going to be like 20 hertz, and that's going to be like 20,000 hertz. Now for an amp, amps are what suck, because all amps naturally have that kind of a response curve. And then how pointy this curve is called the Q of the curve, as I recall. It's been a long time since I took any of this stuff. But yeah, this is the basic problem with getting really nice sound out of, you know, car stereos, home stereos, guitar amps, anything like that. Home theater, it's all the same junk. And this is why. Because it's all the same junk. It's all got an amp that by and large only works at one best frequency, F0, usually they're called. Like this will have an F0 too. Like when you're buying subs for a car or something, they'll have, you know, what's the F0 on the sub, and that's like the frequency at which it's most resonant. And, you know, lower's better, so get some 20 hertz instead of some 40s or 60s or whatever. But, okay, and then you come to the pickup, right? And the pickup's also got, you know, perhaps at best a flat curve, or it's probably more something like that. Or if you've got a single coil and you put it up here, then it would be maybe perhaps a little brighter, that kind of a curve. EQ or frequency response. You know, I've never really... Actually, if you look at like Seymour Duncan's and stuff, they'll have like a... how much bass, mid, and treble they have, which kind of gives you a 3-point curve for the frequency response for a pickup. So yeah, so here's what you got, is you got, you know, something like that or that or that kind of thing for a pickup. That's with all the screws, you know, flat or normal. This is the thing with the amp. It's naturally not going to generate bass and treble. That's the reason why when you go to your EQ pedal here, let's get the EQ pedal in. So here's your EQ pedal, the big old stomp button. And this guy here is one of the places where you can influence all this by the fact that it's basically going to add up all these curves. As you can see, this one's more or less flat, so you don't have to worry about having any dead spots in your speaker. So that kind of gets factored out of the equation entirely, assuming you've got decent speakers, you know, and full range and stuff. So what you're left with is you've got this ugly natural frequency response of your amplifier, which gives you lots of mids but doesn't give you a lot of bottom or top end. So you're usually, you know, turning the tone up some, turning the bass up all the way, turning the treble up all the way, that kind of thing, and get it flatter and cleaner and fuller sound. You got your EQ pedal, or multiple, or whatever you're doing. Tone controls on a guitar, but there all you've got is a treble kill, so that's not a whole lot of use. And then you've got the output of the pickup, which you can influence with the screws. So the idea is we're going to try to take something that's got maybe a curve like this. We're going to try to turn it more into a curve like that for the output of the pickup. Then run it through like an EQ that's got a curve like your typical EQ kind of setting, kind of a thing like that. And then between the two of these, that might actually, you take that, and you add it up with that, and you add it up with that, and you might end up with something that looks kind of like that when you're done. Well, not necessarily bump there in the upper edge, but yeah. Something flatter or maybe slightly sloped up, but also with some fair amount of bottom end. Because if you just took this and it was a flat line and you just ran it through an amp and didn't play with the tone controls, you'd end up with and this was like, you know, a normal speaker, you'd end up with this kind of output. And you put a spectrum analyzer on it, and that's what you'd see on the curve. Because all a spectrum analyzer does is kind of like the same way an EQ chops up your frequency bands, spectrum analyzer does the same thing. This one here applies boost or cut in the form of a little amplifier chip, and the spectrum analyzer, all it does is it just is a level meter for the signal at that frequency. And generates a little display of a curve in real time. So it's a cool tool. I always saw them as being decorative because I go by ear instead of eye, so. But anyway, yeah, I actually used to run 3 Onkyo 12-band EQs on my home stereo system back in the day, so I could get Ted Nugent live on CD, which is a rather rough original recording, to actually sound front row center live, crystal clear, running it. But that was about the only cut or CD that actually required all 3 EQs in order to get it really cleaned up and sounding good. But, you know, when you've got all 3 turned on, you got a total of 36 decibel boost at, you know, 18 or 22 kilohertz. So you can get some top end back into the signal. But anyway, yeah, so all these wacky curves and adding them all up and trying to get something that sounds good when it comes out here is what this is all about. And so the idea is we're going to play with these screws here and try to get this sounding as best as we can before we, you know, have to resort to modifying it with an EQ pedal or playing around with tone controls on the amp. So that's the theory behind it. Alright, let's get back to playing around. And in everything I just said, the big analogy there is the same way that waves superimposed by adding up and getting bigger or canceling is the same way that response curves do the exact same thing. So you take the response curve from your pickup and you add like the response curve of your amp, and then hopefully your speaker's not going to make any difference. And those two together added up, and obviously you saw the amp curve, it's going to have a whole bunch of mids and not much else. So you add those two up, and that's going to be your final result. That's the reason why, in general, you always kind of have stronger mids, and you tend to have, you know, not so strong. It's not hard to get the mids loud in a guitar, and it's a little bit more work for really crisp, clear, loud highs and really crisp, clear, clean, heavy basses as well. They're a bit more work because the instrument is naturally running through the electronics and stuff. It naturally is most resonant in the mid ranges. So yeah. So that's the deal. We can take all of our we can manipulate this frequency response curve a little bit, and we can throw a pedal in to add another frequency response curve into the mix. And then we take the frequency response curve of whatever this thing is, and we smash them all together, and that's what comes out our speaker. So, alright, I'll be right back. Okay, I was just thinking about it here, and it occurred to me that I was looking at some of the videos that just uploaded, and part 17, which I believe is the previous video, or maybe it's part 16, one of them it was part 17, it's the first video today. I was recapping my conclusions from the playing around with pickups yesterday, and that got me to thinking that if you were going to have one pickup and you're just going to opt on like one single coil, and you're going